Hey folks, had a few conversations this week that got me thinking, and I wanted to share some of those thoughts with you. It's going to take a few minutes if you'll just bear with me. I hope and pray that it helps someone, anyone, I don't care. As long as one person sees this and it makes them think a second time, worth it. It's going to take me a few minutes. It wasn't my idea, but then I'm not the boss. He says, go, right. I go and write. Here we are. The Golden Gate Bridge was completed in May of 1937. A mere 10 weeks later, a 47-year-old World War I veteran named Harold Wobber was the first jumper. Since then, there have been roughly 2,000 people who have thrown themselves from the deck in a mistaken bid to end their suffering. The deck of the bridge itself is 245 feet or 75 meters from the surface of the water. When they hit that water, they're going around 80 miles an hour. From that height, at that speed, it's the equivalent of landing on concrete because water is incompressible. Surface tension is a bitch. It is nearly always lethal, but there are exceptions that stand out. At the time of this recording, there are 39 people who have survived the jump they thought would end their pain. These folks have been interviewed repeatedly, and they all have one thing in common besides their survival. Every single one regretted what they had done on the way down. To a man, they released their grip on the railing, and before they hit the water, they spent the entire 4-second plunge plummeting towards certain annihilation, thinking, why? What have I done? Please, God, save me. They vary, but all of them reported similar thoughts. When they knew it was over, and they were going to die just as they had wished to only moments before, the only thing they felt was regret over doing so. It took certain death to remind them that they needed to live. 4 seconds. Doesn't seem like much, but a hell of a lot can happen in such a short time. They are blessed beyond measure, and they know it because they understand that they and those who love them almost lost them. The thing that keeps me up sometimes is the other 1,969 jumpers who didn't make it. How many of them felt the same way in that eternal 4 seconds of falling and were begging for a reprieve that never came? How many lives besides their own endured unspeakable suffering and lifelong questions due to their decisions? How many people who loved them died inside or out because of what they had done? I can't get my head around it. I wonder how many times someone has thought, no, as the nerve impulses from their brain squeeze the trigger. Unfortunately, the time for reflection is so short that once reason hits, the deed is almost simultaneously finished. There's no time for a reprieve, or even to ask for one. What I'm trying to say is this: don't leave. Don't quit. Don't give up. If you need help, there's no shame in asking for it. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom and strength. To be able to say, please help me with this burden. I can't do it alone. It's a lot stronger than just breaking your back trying to do it yourself. It doesn't make you stupid or ignorant or useless. It makes you human. I know whereof I speak because I've been where you are, and as awful as it might be right now, I promise you it will get better. Often when you least expect it. Your problems are never going to go away. It's part of life. The Buddha said life is suffering, and he wasn't wrong. But then again, no wise man ever said that you must endure that suffering alone either. Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Even God Himself does not expect you to suffer in silence alone. Ask for help. Don't hide the pain. Those who you know love you will understand, and they will help you. If you feel that no one does love you, remember that pain skews our perceptions of reality more strongly than any drug known to man. You are very, very likely mistaken. Remember that when you feel like you have reached rock bottom, there is nowhere to go but up. It's a cliche because it's true. There are churches and support groups, both physical and online, chock full of people who have been where you are and want to help you get where you actually deserve to be as a fellow child of God or just a fellow human being who can be saved from their own destruction. We're all in this together. We're all broken life preservers on a sinking ship called Earth. Funny thing though, a broken life preserver can still save your life. If not for you, then for the people you love, get help and do the hard work that it will take to heal. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not easy. Nothing worth doing is ever easy, but it's ultimately worth it in the end. I speak from experience. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I've been there. I know the cold shiver that goes up and down your spine like nails on a chalkboard when gunmetal touches a filling in your tooth. I know all about survivor's guilt. When you look around and you see good, solid men with families being taken by cancer while you go on as a bachelor approaching 50 with no one depending upon you but a couple of cats who are easily rehomed, let's just say life isn't fair and let it go at that. You must honor those you have lost in this war we call life by continuing to fight every day as hard as you can, sometimes even harder than that. When I lose sight of that, oddly enough, I remember what Lieutenant Ratchik said. I have only one rule. Everybody fights, no one quits. I know it's just a line from a movie, but it helps. You know, once I heard an old Jewish adage that says, when you murder a man, you destroy an entire world. Did you know that the word suicide literally means self-murder? That's what the word means when you break it down to its roots. When a man murders himself, the effect is the same, perhaps more so because the people around him who depend upon him are arguably more affected by what he has done than he is. Moments that should have been shared. The pain of others that man might have assuaged or stopped altogether. The times when you will be desperately needed and will not be there. The loved ones or even acquaintances that may have been saved by your mere presence in their lives may now join you in death sooner rather than later. You have to be strong, for them if not for yourself. You aren't allowed to quit, and what's more, you shouldn't want to. Accept the challenge. Throw the gauntlet at the Reaper's feet and decide today, if you want me, you son of a bitch, you're going to have to take me, and you better bring hell with you because you're going to need all the help you can get. Fight the bastard. Make him earn his keep. I decided a long time ago that when my soul gets turned into the boss, the courier is going to be walking with a limp with a cracked skull 3 days late. Goest thou and do likewise. Fight. Win the day. Tomorrow we'll all get up and do it again, like Valhalla right here on Earth. Everybody fights, no one quits. You can do this. But you have to stick around to see the fruits of your labor. I can tell you from experience, that fruit is sweet and fresh and nourishing. It's worth every single second of toil once you taste it. I pray for you all to have bushels of that wonderful fruit of joy. Take care, folks, and take care of each other.